I'm Mike Gordon, and welcome to Perfect Playthroughs, where our objective is to accomplish everything the game has to offer. It's been 3 months since your escape. Haunted by guilt and tormented by nightmares. Nightmares of Jennifer's screams and the infernal temptations of the mask. She doesn't have to die, Rick. We can save her. Go back to the house. Man, this music is really rockin', man. I can't believe I put off covering this game for so long. It's actually, what this is Splatterhouse 2. The original Splatterhouse was only for arcades and ported over to TurboGrafx 16. Neither of which I have. And by the way, this is actually the first Genesis game since last year's 12 games of Christmas that I don't own that I got to cover here for this channel. I don't really have that many more Halloween-themed episodes. So, and the ones I do have are either just way too long or way too difficult and not very fun. I'll find you there. So I'm making an exception here and covering a game I don't own. Only I can give you the power. A game I do not own. To close out Halloween. One of the longest requested games on my channel. Since dating back to before the first iteration of 12 Games of Christmas even. That being Splatterhouse 2, You Need Me. Developed by Namco. My first Namco game here on this channel, though I've had quite a few opportunities to cover games from this developer. Now, perfect playthrough conditions for this game are pretty straightforward. All you have to do is beat the game, and that's it. Alright, so A and C both. This is actually a horror themed beat 'em up, but it's a very simplistic beat 'em up. As generic enemies generally take 1 to 3 hits to kill, or at the very least to put down for a while. So yeah, perfect playthrough conditions, all you have to do is beat the game, and that's it. There is a HUD that reads item at the bottom. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I'm having to be careful here because there are some enemies that will try ambush ya. Swarm and ambush ya. Getting swarmed is not pleasant. Luckily, level 1 is easy enough. I say easy enough in brackets, but that's not entirely true. A simple food like a face hugger. Man, this game is gory. But really, you can only take 4 hits before you die, and you only have at most 3 or 4 extra lives. To the best of my knowledge, there is no way to replenish health other than clearing a stage. And there are no extra way to accumulate extra lives. At least as far as I can tell. I think you get a high score, they'll give you an extra life though. but there's like a really small hard cap. So, yeah. So, it's easy enough on paper, but not being able to take a ton of hits and having so few lives at max makes it very easy a game over. A secret entrance to the house? And I don't even think there are any branching paths. If there are, I haven't had to worry about them. There is actually one exception in the game, but I'll get to that exception when I get to that exception. These guys are so annoying. So yeah, this is definitely the most Halloween-centric episode of Perfect Playthroughs this year. Columns 3 and Biohazard Battle are probably the least Halloween-centric, and it's really just the Egyptian spooks and creepy crawlies. In Columns 3 and Biohazard Battle, it's the bugs, plants, and fungi that are enough to make your flesh crawl. And of course, the Cap Attack is literally Halloween for little kids. This game, though, is so gory that's honestly amazing that the Senate had literally, Washington had absolutely no problems with Splatterhouse the Splatterhouse games. No, it was Mortal Kombat that was super problematic. This game's way gorier than like, let's be honest here. The reason why Congress didn't give a rat's ass about Splatterhouse, or what was that game from 1990, Technocop? It's not because these games were not gory enough, or as gory as Mortal Kombat. It's that Mortal Kombat was a pop culture phenomenon that kids got to play. That literally had nothing to... Splatterhouse wasn't. Technocop wasn't. Actually, Technocop was panned when it came out. So we're dealing with increasingly trickier boss combinations, but so far the bosses haven't been extremely durable. Have not been extremely durable or anything like that. The stench of this foul river is overpowering. I must continue upstream. So yeah, this game doesn't give you a very clear direction or story. All you need to know is that your girlfriend has been captured yet again by these demons from hell or something. And now you have to don the what you would think is a Jason mask. The hockey mask that makes you look a bit like Jason, but it's not. It's actually a skull mask. You have to don that once more in order to battle the evil dead, so to speak, and rescue your girlfriend from hell. From hell's clutches. From the clutches of hell, so to speak. Now, the first Splatterhouse I never played before. Actually, I never played any of the Splatterhouse games, but the first game never saw release on Genesis. It was TurboGrafx 16, and that was it. Arcade in TurboGrafx 16. And it was Splatterhouse 2 and 3 that saw exclusivity deals with Sega. As the TurboGrafx 16 by that point had already closed down. So this is how you kill. So the third boss is literally unborn baby zombies. Like, these are clearly these are fully developed fetuses. But don't worry, most of the blood has been censored and turned into green blood. But you still get the red blood in the background here and there. This game is probably the goriest game I've played on the Genesis. And I would not be surprised if only Splatterhouse 3 can match Splatterhouse 2 in terms of gore. See a building on that island. It's the house. So as is typical of beat 'em ups, there are 8 stages to complete. Okay, so you do get an extra life. Based on your score count. Now this is an auto-scroller. I'm not doing things that will ensure that. The reason why I'm letting the monster gang up on me, if you want to attack while in movement at the same time, you gotta jump kick. B attacks, and on the ground, the attack is always punch. When ducking or jumping, though, it's a kick. And A and C both jump. The reason why I'm not jump kicking to outrun the boss is so I can anticipate when the next enemies appear. Now this stage is a little tricky. Those simple blue sparkle things come back to revive these zombies that will not stay dead. And then there are those floating blue faces here that essentially reverse your controls when they grab onto you. So I literally have 2 of these blue things grabbing me, which means and all it takes is one of them to reverse your controls. They don't stack up on top of one another and reverse your controls again and again. Nor do they actually hurt you. So I'm holding left to go right, so to speak. And I think this is where the game actually gets hard, because this guy is difficult to avoid. You don't get stuff like slide kicks or anything like that because you can't move in a crouching position. This is actually a very simple beat 'em up. About as simple as Alter Beast in terms of designs. Though I reckon this game has far more appeal towards the horror crowd than Alter Beast does. Probably because the game's longer and it's way gorier. I have to anticipate. Come on, enough with the pop-ups. Alright. So I got that guy in a rhythm, and he died really quickly. Alright. Jennifer must be somewhere in there. I'll do whatever it takes to save her. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to kick these hands away. These purple guys are now annoying because they're the first enemies that don't go down in one hit. Apart from those infinitely regenerating undead enemies that we fought in the previous stage. We got our gun. Sadly, this is the only time where we gain access to a gun in the whole game. And it turns every hit into a one-shot. Alright. Hit all our targets so far with just one ammo left. And we don't need the ammo. It is a shame that you can't carry our weapons from one section of a stage to the next. But to be fair, it's not like I've played any beat-em-up games where weapons that you can pick up off the ground, you actually get to keep them. Streets of Rage never did that. Maybe it did. Maybe they changed that in Streets of Rage 4. I don't know. But I've certainly never seen something like that happen in Streets of Rage in the OG, in the original trilogy. So far it's just hands. Yeah, we're kicking a bunch of things. Actually, they're not things, they're female hands, so majigs. We're kicking a bunch of majigs. Alright, this is the only section in the entire game where there is arguably branching paths. This is without, and that's down these holes. You fall down a hole, you will end up entering a different screen. I have no idea, well, how to clear that screen or what would happen if you did. But I'm not gonna try it. But I'm not gonna try that. Instead, I'm just gonna keep moving forward because who knows, maybe falling down the pit locks you out of the good ending. So yeah, I clear this screen rather easily. But yes, it is somewhat similar to this screen, but those enemies weren't there. I think the layout's different too. So yeah, we're fully capped off on lives, we're fully capped off on health. Because they're right next to each other, I have to wait till one of them passes by. Alright, it all worked out in our favor. To the best of my knowledge, those slime things that we keep punching cannot turn around when they're in stand-up motion. So, there you go. Alright, we have to defeat this guy, who seems to be just a mad scientist. You have to throw vials at him or kick him in order to damage him. Sadly, the vials are throwing items, which means they're only good for a single use. So we hit him with the vial and evade the flames. Alright, have to be careful now. And yeah. Just one hit though. Technically I think it was more like 4 or 5. The secret to the gate must be in the diary. The mask can open a portal to the void. Alright, so we spoke to the scientist, and now we're ready to open up a door to the void. To try to rescue our girlfriend, Jennifer. And this is the only level that's just a single boss fight. And here's Jennifer right there. Yeah, it's another damsel in distress story, but to be fair, it's the forces of hell that you actually have to rescue her from. I don't think there's much any strong, independent woman can do about that. Now, I'm not the kind of guy that wants to rescue my girl all the time. But I imagine, let's be honest, if your girl's life is in danger, I think it's in your best interest to try and save her. And I took out these heads. I just had to whip whatever object comes out. Whether it's a hand, a head, or eventually the boss himself. Which is this thing. But it just took one hit to kill him. Now you might think this big thing is the boss, but it's actually the final boss that we have to take care of at the end. Anyways, we can now enter the portal and try to rescue our girlfriend. As I step into the portal, the void pulls me in. Okay, the design of that woman tells you this is a Japanese developed game. And I wouldn't be surprised if Friday the 13th was used as a bit of inspiration here. Unfortunately, this is one of those few stages where I don't think it's possible to avoid taking damage. All you can do is minimize damage. As we're basically just in an elevator right now. And just like that, we are already ready to take on the next boss, and this is where we try to rescue our girlfriend Jennifer. We stand between those lightning bolts after a re-hit against the crystal prison. And you cannot be touching the orbs that surround it, but if you time it, you can literally punch the crystal and do damage before the little orbs spawn. Anyways, Jennifer, grateful that we rescued her, decided to run off ahead of us, while we have to outrun this thing. Fortunately, this isn't a boss fight, and just like in, I think, level 4, with the bridge, this is an auto-scroller. Alright, there you have to jump over this orb. Yeah, we did fine. Luckily, we can still, unlike Ultra Beast, we can regenerate health simply by clearing the stage. And Jennifer waited for us outside the portal. The house is collapsing. Let's get out of here. And for what it's worth, Jennifer's life is not in danger at any point in this final level, which is an escape theme level. Why? Because she's literally just standing in the background, pacing back and forth in her little corner. So none of the debris or enemies will ever hurt her. Having said that, all we can really do is punch these guys over and over again. Until we reach the top floor, where we can then proceed to evacuate. Again, these enemies do not stay dead. Okay, we made to the top, that's great. So now we basically have a two-part boss fight. First against this thing. We actually need to punch that little spike here, pick it up, do a small jump, and then at the start of your jump you have to literally have to press B to throw it. At the start of the jump, not at the top of it. Otherwise, you will whiff on hitting the open eye. And you can only hit him when the eye is open. Anyways, we made back to shore, but there's still one last loose end before we can have our happily ever after. At least until Splatterhouse 3. First we hit the heads. Then we hit this thing. Hit the wolves. And we punch the boss. Alright, good timing. Unfortunately, I thought this section you could not avoid getting hit, but that's not true. Turns out, this is how you avoid getting hit. Hello, Mowgli. Stand in the corner and then hit the boss. Oh, baby. He wants attention. Oh, Mowgli wants attention. Alright, don't. No team. Alright. And there we go. We beat the final boss. Isn't that right, little precious? Precious little baby. First he interrupted me while filming Techo's Super Bowl, and now he's interrupting me while doing as I wrap up voicing over the footage of Splatterhouse 2. The monster's visage disappeared into the lake. The Terra mask has left me as I was with Jennifer. But what of the mask? Well, you gotta tune in for Splatterhouse 3, but that may not be till next year. As long as that mask remains, it can happen again. It'll happen for as long as Namco continues producing more Splatterhouse games. Which I think the third game is the last game to come out of the series, which is a pretty damn shame. Overall, I do think this game is fun. And leaps and straight up, it's the best game out of the 4 that I've covered on for Halloween. Maybe Columns 3, but I don't know. I think I have to give the edge to Splatterhouse 2 on that. Simply because I prefer beat-em-ups to puzzle games. Biohazard Battle would then get the bronze, and Decap Attack picks up the rear, despite being a platformer and thus falling more in suit with what I would actually like. I think, honestly, Splatterhouse 2 pretty much nails everything. The graphics, the music, the sound, the parallax, some of the graphical flourishes, not just the sprite modelings. It is nice and gory without being flat out disgusting. And the gameplay, though simple, it works. Though simple, it's very good. It's simple but very, very effective and gets the job done. That's what I'm trying to say. So I hope you all have a nice little Halloween going on as we end our little Halloween marathon. But now I'm gonna do something I've never done before: a Thanksgiving marathon. Wow, a Thanksgiving marathon. I wonder how that will manifest itself. Oop, looky here. Forces of Evil will return to Splatterhouse 3. Who knows if I'll ever cover this game. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my perfect playthrough of Splatterhouse 2. Happy Halloween. And be sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. With all out of the way, this is Mike Gorn, sign out.